The Oxford English Dictionary is, at the moment, in its published version, 20 volumes long. It covers English wherever it's spoken in the world, essentially as a first language, and over whatever historical period that variety of English has been in existence for. So the earliest records of material in the OED are about 1500 years old. The definitions in the dictionary are written in British English spelling, but the words that we're describing, the documentation that we use, comes equally from any part of the English-speaking world. The original editor of the dictionary was a Scot, and he included a lot of Canadian, South African and American terms in his dictionary. So he didn't regard the dictionary as solely a British dictionary. It was an international dictionary even then. I think probably what was less well recognised in Oxford and in Britain at the time was that these other varieties of English were growing exponentially in their own countries.
English is the language of the world. If somebody from Sweden is speaking to someone from Japan, then the chances are they will be speaking in English. So we wanted to write a dictionary that reflected that global status, that didn't say that it was from a very narrow cultural or historical or linguistic background. To give you one very brief example, in the most recent dictionary published by one of our main competitors, the word parliament, its first definition starts with the words "in the UK." Now, I feel that in this day and age, that is no longer appropriate. A parliament is something to many people around the world and needs to be defined in a more non-culturally specific way. World English also means reflecting the many different words in the English language as it is used around the world. In Malaysia, if you zap something, you're probably photocopying it, whereas in the UK and the US it has a very different meaning. In South Africa, if you pass a robot, it's actually a set of traffic lights to the rest of us throughout the world. We're also, for the first time, putting on a world stage a number of the varieties of English that other people around the world are perhaps not aware of. We included a lot of Hawaiian terminology, for example, that has not made it into any mainstream American dictionary, let alone a dictionary that is widely available in the Pacific Rim and in Australia and New Zealand. So I do think that we're reflecting a wider richness, a broader diversity. We're certainly not simplifying or dumbing down.
I don't think the Encarta experiment was a success. I think there were a lot of, we must have 20 words from this area, 20 words from this area, 20 words from that area, and that's really not how we work. So if it turns out that there are 1,000 words from Caribbean English that are significant in the letter P, then we'll put them all in. We won't say, well, we just want this, we just want that, we want a nice, round, politically correct posy of words from different parts of the world. I think language is more complicated than that. The raw material which the editors in the dictionary department use nowadays often comes from computer databases, historical texts that are available on the internet. At the same time, we also use material that's been collected by our own team of readers around the world. We ask them to read books, magazines, periodicals from whatever period of literature we feel needs better covering, whatever part of the world needs better covering, and they send in to us, in the old days on index cards, but nowadays they tend to key them into their laptops and send them by email to us here. Documentary evidence of whatever they've found in whatever work they're reading that seems to them to be significant. Now, some of these are paid readers, which we run on our reading programs. Some are volunteers. We've had a professor from the south of France about 3 weeks ago sent in about 300 anti-datings he'd found in his own research in Renaissance English, and these are examples of words in Renaissance texts that are earlier than the published earliest examples in the Oxford English Dictionary, which is fascinating for us. So we immediately put them into our card files when we come to revise that entry. We'll add them to the record of English. So any individual can actually make a substantial difference to the record of English just by reading text and sending material to us.